Hey there, travelers. We made it for another season down in Ecuador. We were in the rainforest, as you see behind me now, in the Amazon rainforest. And so we've gone a long ways. From season 1, we sold our home in Colorado, drove all the way north to the Yukon, spent quite a bit of time up there, and it started getting chilly, really chilly. So we started driving fast south. That was in the fall in the northern hemisphere, and we drove all the way down to Baja, California to camp on the beach for a while. And we spent quite a bit of time down in Mexico and really enjoyed our time there. We traveled all the way from the northern tip of the peninsula to the southern tip and all the way back up north the other side. And then we shipped our vehicle from Texas to Colombia. And that's kind of where we left off with you on the last season. And we didn't take a lot of videos in Colombia because we just really wanted to get to know the culture there, meet some new people, and just kind of take our time with it and not have the pressures of recording videos weekly for you guys. But we're back at it now, and we're in Ecuador, and we're really enjoying our time here. We've had a couple of hiccups, which we'll explain here in a second, but things are good. We're having a lot of fun. We've seen some incredible things. We've made some new friends, and it's just been a really nice journey. And we're excited to share this trip with you, heading south to Argentina. And there's a lot to see. We're not taking the highways. We're not on the Pan American Highway like most people take from driving north to south. People usually drive the Pan American Highway, end up in Ushuaia, and then call it a day. This is a little different. We're taking trails and village roads and seeing kind of the countryside of Latin America. And it's a cool experience. We're getting to see things that a lot of people don't get to see. We're seeing a lot of local people, local villagers, and local culture, and that's really interesting to us, and it's been fun having you along, and we're excited to have you along for this next part of the adventure heading south.
We were just about as wild as we were young, restless and free, madly in love, just you and me. A full tank of dreams, left that dirt road town in our rearview dust. Down the interstate, it was only us and the radio, with 3,000 miles to go. And just like that, we headed off to the coast. California ain't that far, where the hard times ain't that hard. Everything's better in the Golden West. It's a state of mind, a way of life. It's an endless summer paradise. San Francisco to sunset.
So when we got back into Ecuador, we went up to Colombia. So we flew into Quito and then drove up to Colombia to pick up our vehicle, and everything was great. So we got there, everything was in perfect condition, and had no issues at all. Drove all the way. It was like a 4-hour drive back to Quito, not a single problem. And so we drove for a few more days, and then the brakes went out. And thanks to some friends back home, we were able to get that figured out. Unfortunately, getting parts for an American vehicle in Ecuador is not super easy. So we had to ship the parts from the States, so we had to get some help on that front. But it took like 2 weeks, and it was super expensive to get the parts into Ecuador. So we finally got them, and we were able to get the stuff fixed, but it was not easy. But everything's working now. Hopefully, there's no issues, and stay tuned, hit subscribe, and we'll let you know how that pans out. But it ended up being the ABS pump, which is not super uncommon for a 100 series Land Cruiser to fail. Just so happened to fail on this trip, and it's not much we could do about that. We had everything tested in the States before we took off, and everything was fine. Unfortunately, it failed, and we had 0 brakes, so it had to get fixed. It wasn't something that we could put a Band-Aid on, and obviously you couldn't get those parts locally. So here we are, and we'll let you know if things change. Hopefully everything is good now. We've been driving for about a week with the parts installed and have had 0 issues, so hopefully that's all settled, and we're on our way south to Argentina.
Started out working 9 to 5 in this small town, when suddenly I see you on my TV. Makes me miss you and the days when I believe California ain't that far, where the hard times ain't that hard. Everything's better in the Golden West. It's a state of mind, a way of life. It's an endless summer paradise. The Hollywood Hills to Sunset Boulevard. California ain't that far, and California ain't that far.